everybody. Welcome back to Real Estate Makes Us Drink. Brian Quinlan here from Daniel's Real Estate, my compadre, my podcast partner, my little buddy, Brad
my
Nickham.
realtor friend, Brad Nickham, Nest Mortgage Group. How you doing, Brian?
Dude, well, traffic sucked getting here.
Yeah, it seemed like we were supposed to start like 4 hours ago.
Well, you felt that.
Yeah, I
But,
did.
you know, seemingly every major highway to get here in Indianapolis is under construction. And I ran into I didn't run into, but there was even a car accident. I'm like, these poor people.
You know, I agree with you, and I disagree to a point. It's actually all of the roads, not just the highways, that are under construction. Because you get on a detour, and there's a detour for the detour to get you back on the route that isn't where you were going.
Is it still an orange sign? Or if it's a detour of a detour, does it go to a different color?
I think at some point it's like a middle finger. So at some point, when all the roads were going bad, there was a politician that said, "Hey, let's wait and fix them at the same time."
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So it's hard to complain about how bad the roads are and then also complain that they're fixing them, though.
Well, yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And eventually it'll be better. It's what I got to keep telling myself. Because the highway right by my house has been under construction now for, I think, 3, maybe 4 years.
Well, if you count the extended part, it's been 100.
You're true. But I keep telling myself, eventually it's going to be better. And it's really good now. But, it's just.
When I moved here in 1997, I said, when they finish this city, it's going to be awesome.
That's still a work in progress.
Someday.
Will we be around when it will be finished?
No. Actually, after we're gone, the planet is going to burn up because it got too hot, and everybody's going to die, and then it'll be finished.
And none of it will have mattered.
It won't matter, yeah.
You know what? Not only does real estate make me drink, but so does traffic. With
Traffic.
that in mind, what are you drinking today?
You're not drinking in
No,
traffic,
I am not.
I'm drinking this thing. It is called gluten-free New Grist Pilsner style. Yuck.
It sounds awful.
It is awful. I felt because you had a beer that I should try to drink a beer, and since I can't drink good
Haven't
beer.
you had this before, though?
Yes.
Well, then why are you doing it again to yourself? You know you don't like it.
I really want to be able to drink beer.
And knowing what I know, I guess I have to try gluten-free
You have to
beer.
taste gluten-free beer. They make it by, it's only made in the wintertime in northern states. And what they do is all of the mats that lay out in front of the department stores, when they get too wet, they wring those out into
Oh, my
bottles,
gosh.
and then that's gluten-free beer.
I don't know why they call that beer, because it tastes like a not-so-good wine.
Yeah.
It even kind of smells like wine. You know what? You want to just pour that out?
No, I'll drink it because I don't throw out alcohol. I feel like it's disrespectful. It's abuse.
You're not a quitter.
I also have my G4 108 tequila. There's a bug on the bar. Do you see it? It's a gnat.
Dude, he will not make it in the
And
show.
the person that left those beers here for you from the Mosquito Authority, I wish that somehow right now she flew in with a cape on and went.
I actually need to give them a call because I need them to come out to my house. We have gnats that circulate right around the backyard table at dinner time.
That's good. I thought you were going to say like a physical area on your body.
No. I would not bring her out for that.
Do you want to try some
No.
G4 tequila?
Just no.
Okay.
Thanks.
What
for
are you
asking.
drinking over there?
Well, as you said, Mosquito Authority left me some Lost Coast tangerine.
Thank you,
from
Alyssa.
Lost Coast Brewery. Thank you, Alyssa. Because she's a show watcher.
I know.
Or at least she was coming into the show.
She's hooked now. I'm sure that
I'm sure.
this is like Friends for her. Like she's waiting on Thursday,
Yeah.
but it comes out on Sunday.
Well, she's wait for Sundays.
Right. But this is must-see TV on Thursday, NBC.
I guess if you're here, yet there's no one here. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
No, cheers to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll have to
we
take
did.
another taste. I can't leave
You
it.
better take bigger sips, just so it goes away faster.
Oh my gosh.
Now, Brad, I can't help but notice as I came into the show here, the decor here on the bar looks a bit different. We got a
It's a beautiful
lit
cactus
up-
that's blooming.
a cactus blooming. It's always the same size. Well, blooming doesn't necessarily mean getting larger.
Right. Yeah. It just means you're blooming.
Got a little flower.
Yes.
Yeah, and a bottle of Santo
A
tequila.
bottle of Santo Reposado. Yeah.
All right, excellent.
Who owns that Santo Reposado? Do you remember?
Man, we have been through this.
I know. That's why I figured you'd like bang
Fury.
that. And
Sammy.
Sammy Hagar. That's right.
Hey, come on
You
now.
did good there.
I'm sometimes paying attention.
And then I got a book that I just finished called How the Gringo Stole Tequila.
Oh.
A very interesting book about how so many of the Mexican tequila companies are now owned by American companies.
Oh, yeah.
But they're still great Mexican-owned tequilas. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of change it up a bit. Maybe, you know me, I like to promote tequila.
No.
Yep. I'm wearing a Cabo Wabo shirt, a 30th anniversary Cabo shirt. And eventually, I feel like if I continue to work hard enough, we will get some form of tequila sponsorship.
Well, we better start like pushing it out to the tequila people. Like you need to tag them on social media when you post stuff.
But I do.
Okay.
But I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually taking a trip to Mexico to tequila.
Wait a minute. I feel like
That's a
I need to
drinking
fill.
game.
I need to fill the shot glass
That's a
for
drinking
this.
game.
All right. So, how many days until you head to Mexico?
It's August 8th, so I don't know how many days that
Well,
is.
less than a month.
Less than a month, yeah. So my plan there, I'm meeting with the brand ambassador of El Teclino, which I said wrong a couple shows ago.
I think you said it wrong that time.
No, it's El Teclino.
Okay, well,
El
good.
Teclino.
Great.
And then we are going to Fortaleza. And,
No.
I hope to talk to the brand manager there
About bringing it to Indiana.
about bringing it to Indiana. Yeah, but also, you know, I have there's a guy named Sergio Cruz who is a master distiller in NOM 1414, makes great tequila. And
Not Sergio Garcia, the golfer.
No, Sergio Cruz.
Okay.
And we've been talking a lot on social media, so I think he might start watching the show.
Do we have his tequila out here?
It's up there on the, one of his tequilas is on the slideshow, Siempre Azul Reposado, my favorite tequila.
We've had that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've got one that I ordered that isn't here yet that will be featured on the show once it comes in.
Okay.
So, yeah. So maybe, and then maybe we could parlay this into you liking tequila too, and then we could actually, like Fred's just dying for us to do, actually talk about the tequila.
He'd like tequila talk, wouldn't he?
There it is. You know, speaking of Fred, you know what's pretty awesome?
He got a new car.
He did get a new car.
He had to go out of state. Where did he go?
Like Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pennsylvania.
That sounds right, yeah.
It's a beautiful car. It's you know, I don't know them very well. It's another Chevy Malibu, I think. A different year. His was a 64. I do know that. I don't know what the year the new one is, but it'll be up here on the screen here. It's white. It's got a fancy motor picture.
I do not care about cars, but I will say that car looks cool.
It looks good.
Yeah. I
just
appreciate
like,
it.
Just like you and Steph do, floating there in the water.
That's right.
Where's that picture from? Tell me a little bit about it.
So that's from the neighborhood.
Oh, look there, Chevy 502.
There it is. All right. Yeah. So that's our neighborhood lake, and we were out there on July 5th, floating.
Okay.
Middle of the afternoon, there wasn't another soul from my whole neighborhood out in the lake. Like,
You know why? Well, that was a Friday, and they were at their jobs.
not necessarily. You know how many people take like the entire weekend off or something like that.
That's true. They do. A lot do.
And you know, I do understand some people do have to go back to work, but not everybody. And
Right.
those are friends of ours who we partied with on the 4th. They were home,
Right?
but they were like, I couldn't even get off the couch.
Oh, they maybe partied a little hard.
Something, I don't know. But Stephanie and I, we were gamers. We were out there floating. Went to see Despicable Me on Friday as well.
Do your voice thing.
Gru voice.
Yeah, that one.
So we saw the movie with the girls and the minions, and the Despicable Me #4 was very good. And I think it's probably the last of the 4 movies. They wrapped it up, I think, at the end pretty good. So go watch the movie. It's good.
That's because Steve Carell's about to retire. He has all the money.
Steve, if you need someone to take over for the voice on that, I actually was on a coaching call today with my social media group, and I was talking about this movie review I had done on my TikTok channel.
What's the name of the TikTok channel?
It is Real Reviews by Brian.
Check it out.
Real being REEL. And one of the movies I reviewed was Despicable Me 4, and I did the entire minute and a half or whatever review in the group
yeah,
voice.
I watched that.
And my buddy out in California who runs the social media group, he says, "You really do a good job on that voice." I was like, "Well, thanks, man." So
It's good. You need to expand on it, though. You need to work on more voices.
I guess you
want to be able to have voice conversations with yourself.
I guess I don't have another one that I do regularly. Occasionally, just random voices do come out, not just inside my head.
Yeah.
They come out loud, but I'm trying to get into voiceover. And
Mine are mostly in there.
I actually got called. Speaking of voiceover, within that social media group, there's a realtor in Reno, Nevada, who saw my post about me branching out into trying to do voiceover work, and she called me up and asked if I would do a voiceover for a house walkthrough on a video of
Dude, that's awesome.
It's over $1 million house. She wants me to be the professional voice of her walkthrough. I'm like, okay.
So here's my question. Like, if I did it, when I'd send it out there, I would have that one guy's movie voice. This home.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic home. Like with that low guy,
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, look at the living room.
I asked her, I said, you got to give me an idea of what you want. Like, do you want this to be maybe a little bit more serious?
Sportscaster?
And I said, do you want the sportscaster guy? Because I could do that. She goes, yeah, probably not the sportscaster
I don't
guy.
understand the sportscaster guy. Like, who wants to hear someone talk like that the whole time?
I think it's really just a throwback to the old days
I
when
don't
sports was
understand.
just on the radio.
Is it like when people are like, hey, we're going down there, see? We'll be there, see?
Sometime back in the day before TV existed and all you got was a baseball game on the radio, somebody told them they needed to juice up their voice to make it more interesting, and that just
like Harry
became a thing. Holy cow! Did you see that?
Yeah. My favorite non-sportscaster voice would be Marge Shaw.
Hi, honey.
That's a really
Come
good
here, Shotzi. This is going to be a great one for you. Racial slur.
You may need a cigarette.
Yeah.
The Reds are going to be so great this weekend, sweetheart.
That's a really good Marge Shot voice.
Yeah. I try. I listened to a lot of Bob and Tom when I was a kid.
Yeah.
We probably should talk a little bit of real estate. And I have kind of, I want to use a big word, pondered.
Ooh, well, that is pretty good.
So I want to
Doing the crossword puzzle today?
No, I can't do a crossword puzzle. Yeah, I put it into Chat GPT and it answers the questions.
There you
for
go.
me.
This is so easy.
So there's a couple things that probably are real estate related that we should talk about. And one of them, we hear people say, like in California, that house went into escrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have local people say, well, what's that mean? Or do we go into escrow? And in Indiana, and like a lot of states, Florida is another one that is title. We just close in a title company. And do you know the difference in why they go into escrow versus why they close at title?
No.
Okay.
And let me go with it from this standpoint. I'll explain how we do it here.
Yeah.
And then you can go with the escrow portion.
Yeah, that's an easy explanation.
And I do hear that all the time.
Yeah.
And in my head, it's just like, oh, that's just closing.
No, it's a little different. But,
Okay.
So when you get an accepted purchase agreement here, you've talked to your mortgage guy.
I thought I was talking about that.
They get you started, and then what do you do next?
Okay.
What's the next thing that happens, and what is the purpose behind it?
Okay. So once the house goes under contract, and this is primarily for the selling agent to start. So, well, actually, maybe not necessarily. It could be the buyer's agent. So
You can choose, right?
Right. One
It's
side,
a negotiable
right.
thing.
Negotiable thing is which side is going to choose the title company that is going to start the process towards closing.
So they facilitate the close?
Exactly. So what they will do is they will start doing a background check, essentially, of the house. They want to make sure that the title of the house, the deed for the house, is actually in the name of the person who's trying to sell it. They want to make sure that they're the only people on that someone's not going to come out of the woodworks and go, that was my grandpa's house and I was in the will, and so I actually I own part of that house. They want to make sure that there's no back taxes that are still owed on it, that there's no liens on the house.
Okay, I want to stop you right there for 1 second. Because one thing that a lot of people that's never bought a house doesn't know the difference between a lien on a house and the lien on the title of their car?
Okay. A lien on a house essentially is, you might consider it a violation, you might consider it a fine or a penalty or something that you owe this to be paid before you can have a clear deed to your house to be able to sell it off to somebody else.
And that could be a first mortgage and a second mortgage as well.
There you go. Yep.
Right. So
I look at it from the standpoint, because where I've dealt with it most is like HOAs.
oh yeah.
You know, if someone's not paying their HOA dues, your HOA can put a lien on your house, and you can't sell that house until that HOA payment is paid.
Or Karen found out you had too many cars over, right?
Exactly.
So, but when you own a house and you have a mortgage, is the bank holding the title like when you have a car loan?
So hopefully I will explain this correctly. So with a car, when you borrow money to purchase a car, the bank or the finance company, whomever you're paying, they have the title to your car. So you are sending them money, but you technically don't own your car at that point. The bank does. And after you're done paying it off, then they send you the title to your car. Poof, it is now officially yours.
Poof.
Exactly. As opposed to a mortgage, when you sign the deed to purchase a house, they give you the deed.
So you're like, right, it's you're
Yes,
the owner
you,
right
you
there.
take that with you. All that paperwork is yours. Boom, it is yours. And the mortgage, depending if you have first mortgage, second mortgage, whatever, goes into, I guess, what we call first place as what's getting paid out of the money that you're paying your mortgage of.
So lien position is really important for the title company, what
Yeah.
you're saying, to make sure that the person that you're buying it from, that not only did their mortgage get paid off and their second mortgage get paid, but they're searching too to see that there's not like a past mortgage that wasn't paid, or maybe somebody got a judgment from a car accident or something and that got put on the, or they got like state income tax or federal income tax.
Or
Those all could
they
be liens.
got a construction loan. That's somehow in
Some
there.
hanging out there. Right.
Yeah, again, HOA liens, that kind of stuff, which falls down the list, but it's there.
So if title comes back to this clean title, I think that's what we call it, right?
Yep, we
Clean
do.
title. And when you close, that lien goes into that position. What happens if the title work is done wrong and a lien pops up? Is there like some kind of insurance for that?
You actually pay title insurance.
That's
So,
exactly right. Yeah.
Yes, there is a thing.
Got a seller's policy and a lender's policy. Yeah. And that is something that's required by us, the lender's policy, because we want to ensure that we are in first position. And really the main thing about that is if we're not in first position and you don't pay your payment, it sounds mean, but we can't foreclose on you because whoever's in first position has to be paid first.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So do people go to a law office, or do they go to a title company?
Good question. So the title company that is chosen to do all of that title paperwork is the location where you will do your closing for the house. So in most cases, both parties show up there. There is a closer. Hi, Heather.
A bill?
Hi, Bill. Thank you.
Nora at Chicago Title. She does a great job.
Oh,
too.
man, this is great. Who else we throw it out there?
Oh, I can name off like 100 closers.
We don't have time for that. Anyways, so yeah.
We'd edit it out.
The closer is there to facilitate all the paperwork, do all the explanation for each party. And, you know, some do it super fast. Some are super detailed. The closers that I have gone to oftentimes will say, do you want me to read this for you line by line, or do you want the highlights?
Yeah. Oh, God, no.
Yes, exactly. Now, in some cases, the lender has already sent them paperwork in advance, so they will have seen it and read it, hopefully. So if they had questions, they already knew that, and they're not reading it for the first time sitting at the table.
100%. Yep.
In some cases, a lender has the opportunity to send them documentation that they can sign electronically,
Yep.
which is great, makes for a super quick closing.
Do you honestly, do you see that a lot?
It is a lot more, yes, but not as much as I would think.
We've been doing e-sign hybrid closings for 3 years now. We were
Dude, that's
one of
awesome.
the first.
Yeah. So closing doesn't always necessarily happen at a title office. Some title companies will offer the opportunity to do a remote closing. Sometimes it's, an out-of-state buyer or seller that isn't here on closing day, so they got to find a title company wherever they are to go to.
Or you could do a RON.
A RON?
A RON.
What is that?
That's a remote notary.
Oh, there
It's
you
a
go.
remote online notary. And
Okay.
it's where a person notarizes
a
it
RON?
by doing a sort of FaceTime video with the person signing, and then those docs go into what's called a vault. And it's notaries then it's actually notarized without the person sitting by them as a RON.
Well, there you go. Learned something new today.
New stuff.
Now, I will say, two friends of mine, Bill and Heather, are super gracious where they will go pretty much anywhere they need to go to do a closing with them. Well, with Heather especially, I've closed at a local high school. We have driven down to Spencer and did the closing for my clients at the house they were selling, just right there in their kitchen. And I've heard of other places that she has gone, and that is great and super easy. And they haven't had it as an extra fee to my clients for them to have to go do that. Some places do.
Right.
And so I'm always appreciative when we have flexibility like that. So thanks to you, Heather. And I know Bill does that as well. I just haven't done that with Bill at this point.
So, we talk about that in the purchase business. It doesn't happen a lot. But in the refinance world, they all close at somebody's house. So that's very
Well, that makes
common.
sense.
The closer
Yeah.
just goes to their house and closes the
Because
loan.
there's only one side to that deal.
Yeah, there's only been one refi this year.
That was easy.
Yeah. Okay, so does the person that's doing the closing, do they have any training or legal responsibility, or is there anything that they have to do the closing?
I'm sure that they're trained.
Yes.
I don't know what training they have to go through.
Yep.
I'm sure they have legal responsibility. I'm sure that
Do they have any other thing that they have to do that they?
they have a stamp, baby.
And what kind of stamp is that?
That stamp, I actually don't even know.
They're a
probably the date.
notary.
Oh, okay. Well, there you
Yeah,
go.
they're all notaries. So
Well,
and he wouldn't know this, but we would because it falls on the lender side. Like a mortgage professional has to have an NMLS number. All title people do as well. So they have to go through their continuing ed and be licensed to be able to be a closer.
continuing ed for everybody.
Yeah, but that's a notary. They're all notaries. That's what that
makes sense, yeah.
That's the only docs at our closings that they have to sign is the notary docs. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
okay.
can't e-sign those. So yeah, that's awesome. It's great information.
Well, thank you.
So how would you feel if everything went remote and online and you didn't have a physical closing anymore?
I've never actually considered that.
I mean, it is because of the RON, and the RON is becoming more accepted, and more Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are doing better at accepting those, and counties are doing better at accepting remote notarized documents. It could very easily become a thing.
Well, I like closing day because in a way it's a bit of a celebration.
Definitely.
Whether you're working for the seller and great for you, you're selling your house, moving on somewhere else, or it's for a buyer and now they get a new start. That can be a bit of a celebration. Now, from the realtor standpoint, I've been fortunate where there hasn't really been much for me to do at closings. I'm there as a representative for my clients and for my brokerage. And
Wait, they don't make you dance?
there hasn't been dance. Not that I'm opposed to it, but
Damn.
I'm okay making a fool of
You
myself.
do come with the
at
big
times.
hat, though, don't you?
I do. Yes, this is closing 2024 hat.
And I haven't seen a press conference lately.
You're right, but I haven't unfortunately had a closing in a bit.
I have a feeling that we have a press conference coming
We
up.
do. I know we do.
I would miss it just because of the closing pictures, like the ones that just popped up on the back.
Yeah.
For me, I don't meet the client.
Right.
So the time that I get to meet them is a closing, and I do try to go to every closing that I do, but it's not possible to go to
sure.
all of them. But
I'd like Matt to make a trip up here for closing.
hey, Matt, if you're
He's
watching.
not even watching. We know it.
So I also like the interaction that the seller and buyer get to have. And it's so fun when they're like, oh, these neighbors are so
Yeah.
cool, and then don't leave your trash can out because that lady, Karen will be down there,
And I'll say,
kind of cool.
opposite of that, there are some that are just uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
again, fortunate. I have not been in a situation where I've had a contentious closing. And maybe there's been once or twice where you purposely do separate closings.
Why don't you close in the morning and we'll close in the
exactly?
afternoon?
I'll close in Franklin. You can close in Zionsville. Something like that.
That same bug
Yeah, I
just
know.
flew in your face, isn't it?
But
Alyssa.
sometimes it's both parties are there and they're just not super talkative, and it's just like uncomfortable silence is just sitting there waiting for all the documents to finish.
So this is something that you don't know because you don't do closings outside of like northern Indiana. But for years in Indianapolis and the surrounding counties, the closings have always had the buyer and seller sitting at the same table. You go to Madison County, Howard County, Wabash County, Allen County, all of those counties north of here, they've never done it that way. It's always been the seller in one room and the buyer in another room. And the reason behind it is they believe that there's buyer's information that the seller doesn't need to know. And there's seller information that the buyer doesn't need to know. So they close on two sides.
There's merit in that.
The closer will close in here, run over and knock out the seller docs. You maybe do them 30 minutes different in time frame, and then they hang out and talk afterwards. Swap keys. My most favorite question is, what day is trash day?
Yeah.
It's an important thing, but it's a funny thing to think that we have to ask that. I've found that really weird. I'd go to a closing and I'm going to meet the listing agent, to go, hey, we did a good job, and they're like, where's the listing agent? Well, they're in that room over there. Can I go in there?
Nice to see you.
No. So awesome. I think that's some great information. So in Indiana, you buy a house, an attorney at the title company prepares the legal documents, the deed and whatnot,
Sure.
but you don't actually meet with the attorney.
Never.
If you're going to close, say, in the state of Connecticut, in the state of New York, you're actually not going to have a title company at all. You're going to close at an attorney's office, and you're going to deal with an attorney at closing.
Seems a bit intimidating.
Well, you know what? It's not intimidating. The word starts with the E. It's expensive.
Oh, well, okay.
Because now they don't like an e-signature closing because they want that the last 2 hours because they're going to bill by the minute.
Oh, man, yeah.
So your closings there are way more expensive than they are in Indiana.
Huh.
So one of the things that's important in Indiana is you buy your house, you sign all the documents, and then you wait for all those things to be recorded.
Right.
So that mortgage is going to be recorded in a few days. That deed is going to be recorded in a few days. And that right there is the primary difference of closing in escrow versus closing at a title company in Indiana.
Okay.
So when you go into escrow in your high-cost states, and it really became a thing in high-cost states, California, Chicago, I believe Denver, Colorado closes in escrow. And what that means is you start the process of the mortgage, your purchase agreement goes to the title company, and those documents are all prepared. And when you're getting close to the end of escrow, they record the mortgage, they record the deed, and then the money comes out of escrow and you get your keys. And the reason they did that is literally because of fraud.
Okay.
Because you have your house and you're going to sell it, and you're going to sell your house in Indiana. And we ask a question to every title company. You haven't sold this house to anybody else or haven't done anything else outside of this transaction, right? And you go, right. But you just came from another closing where you sold the same house to somebody else, and another closing where you sold the same house to somebody else.
Oh, man.
You get funded 3 times on that one house, and 5-6 days later, they show up at the county to record it, and whoever recorded the deed first wins.
Yeah.
And that is the thing. So it hasn't been a thing in a lot of states, but it was a thing in high-cost states because if you're going to commit fraud, you don't want to do it on 100,000.
No.
You want to do it, I guess, on millions. I don't want to commit any fraud, but I'm just saying. So when you look
Go
at
big.
that process, it's to ensure that the house that you just bought, that you bought it, the deed is in your name, it's recorded, your mortgage is recorded, and that is your house. And that's the difference between people that go into escrow and closing the way we do.
So we'll keep going with New York as the example. who does all the work that the title company here does, looking into the background of all that?
Hire a search company, just
Oh.
like the title company does. Like the title company doesn't physically go do the search.
Okay.
They contract somebody that does the search. And in most of our title companies here, they may have a certain name, but when you see the title may have a different name. You may close at a company called Super Duper Title.
Yeah, it's a
But
good
when you
one.
get the title work, it says First American. Well, First American is the underwriting insurance company that's writing that lender insurance, where sometimes you close at First American Title, or you close at Stewart Title. But you also may close somebody and Stewart Title is that insurer, or same with Chicago Title.
Fascinating.
It's a little extra piece.
I find it fascinating.
Okay, so I have another question for you.
Well, what are we shooting today? Is that the question?
Yeah, that was one.
Let's go.
You want another one?
It's time for shots.
Oh, we're going to do shots?
Yes.
Okay,
I mean, we're kind of mid-episode here. We
we
need
are.
to slow it down.
so what do you want to do a shot of?
For you,
You already know what I'd say.
for
so
you,
pick. You
we
pick.
shall do tequila today.
Which one you want to do?
Why you gotta go there?
Oh, you want me to pick?
Wait, where's the one of the guy you were talking about that we need to have?
Sergio Cruz?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I think you'll like this actually.
I probably had it.
Nope, you never had this one. I just got it.
Oh, well.
Nam 1414, Ciembrezzo Blanco. Sergio Cruz is the master distiller.
Hola, Sergio.
I'm telling Sergio, he doesn't speak English, I don't believe, because all of his messages to me are in Spanish, and then I have to
Google Translate.
translate them.
Nice. And yours-
This is one of those really cool tequilas that explains everything about it, like where the agave was grown, how they distill it. It's pretty cool, and they always have a cool bottle. It's good stuff.
well, all right.
We'll set him next to.
Today
Oh, look!
is
Now you can't even
the-
see me. I'm
Today
like-
is the 11th. You're going on the 8th, you say?
Yeah, we fly. We fly on August 8th.
We got 20 days till the end of July.
That's
and then
20 more
another-
days of drinking tequila at home.
And then 8 after that. So you got 28 days till you go.
So remember to be respectful of the great tequila.
We're not shooting it.
You sip it. Come on. You got some flavors there?
Tequila.
Tequila. Noah. Nothing peppery?
No joke. I was going to say pepper.
Yeah, because this one does have a lot of little peppery, bit spicy to it a little bit, a little spicy.
I don't want to sound like a 4-year-old and everything's spicy, but did you ever notice that? Were your kids like
oh, yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah. Do you like the piece of bread? It's spicy.
Give them a piece of mint gum. Spicy.
What about any floral taste or smell to it? Or citrusy?
I'll throw some citrus in there. Floral, I'm not picking up, but
Oh, that's good stuff.
that really is.
Mm.
Tequila with your tequila.
Yeah, you want to taste the difference between that
No.
and floral?
Jeez.
Okay, so now that you've enlightened us and taught us about title,
I'm not sure
let's
I did.
say that I am. I seen a thing today that talked about side hustles. Okay, and it said currently in America, 36% of all people, working folks, because non-working folks aren't going to have one.
It's not a side hustle if you don't have a job.
Right? Yeah, yeah. You're not down at the unemployment office or the welfare office. Like, I need this check, but my side hustle's amazing. My crypto. So real estate happens to be the #1 side hustle
Ooh, wow.
in America, and I like internalize that because as I heard it, and I'm like, man, I know there's a lot of part-time agents,
Yeah.
and
That's why the statistic of how many, like, what's the average number of homes that realtors sell every year
is it one?
is it's 3 or 4.
Okay, so it's higher than I thought.
But I mean, I've done this for 4 years. I've always sold significantly more than 4. There are people who sell, 25 times that.
Sure.
But there is someone who is registered as a realtor that didn't sell anything because they're doing it part-time,
Right.
or they suck at it. Sorry, I cut you off. Go on.
No, I was listening. You didn't cut me off. You're right on it.
So was there going to be a question in terms of
There's
this?
actually a couple.
Okay.
So the first question would be, if I was going to choose a realtor, am I wrong for choosing a part-time realtor?
It's not a simple yes or no answer, because I would say it may depend on your situation. I always say, you want to work with someone that you know, like, and trust, and I didn't make up that phrase. And so
That's actually a really good answer to that.
thank you. So if you find someone that you know, like, and trust, and you want to work with them, if they tell you that this is their side hustle, like back when I was a teacher, that should be a shot, I think, in and of itself too, right? Every time you talk about going to Mexico, every time I talk about back when I was a teacher,
Another shot.
I'm still working on mine.
Wasted.
Anyways, I got into it with the idea that for the last year I was going to teach, that once I got my license, I could do real estate part-time to kind of learn the business and maybe get a transaction or two before I went into it full-time. And so there are a lot of people who have that mindset. Well, if you're looking for a realtor, you find someone you know, like, and trust, and they say, well, this is my side hustle. I'm only available in the evenings or on weekends, or I'm only available on weekends for some people, or this day, this day, this day. If that works for you and your schedule, because you're not in a huge hurry, what's the harm in that? Now, back in when the pandemic started and then all of 2021, you did not want a part-time realtor, because homes sold so quickly. Like, I remember people saying, like, they'd call me up in the middle of the day, hey, I want to go look at a house. Okay, when do you want to go? Well, can we go at like 2:00?
Sold.
Exactly. And so many people in the training world.
Do you want me to send an offer in before we see it?
You're right. So many people in the training world where I used to work would be like, oh, you need to have put everything in your calendar and stick to that calendar. You know what? Homes sell so quickly. If they need to go at 2:00, I don't give a damn what my calendar says. I'm going to show them a house. And so if you're in a situation where you're in a huge hurry and you have a weird schedule, like some people work nights or they work weekends and they're only available during the day and a weekday, well, then maybe that part-time realtor ain't your person.
I agree with that.
Thanks.
I mean, I have a lot of agents most of my agents are probably full-time agents that refer me business, but I do have occasional, I can count a handful that are part-time agents that I do business with every year, and their clients are always really happy. And I never want to say don't use a part-time agent, because I don't think that's right. I think it is all
I'm
about
sure there
who
are
you
some
like.
part-timers that are excellent at what they do.
Totally agree. Now, I would say on the lending side, I would disagree with that. Because this business is so ever-changing on the lending side, and being able to stay up on what you do. And, I work the hours that realtors do because the customer's going to see the house in the evening or the weekend, and they need pre-approved at night. But underwriting and all of the processing piece and getting the loan closed happens during the day. And if you got a loan officer that has a full-time job somewhere else, that means he ain't getting none of that done during the day.
Nope.
And it's going to be really difficult. But we're talking about being a realtor, not a lender. So, okay, so that's a great answer. So let's say that I'm sitting at home. I just binged a whole season of Selling Sunset, and I'm getting ready to binge the Selling Sunset and Laguna Hills.
Have you ever seen any of those episodes?
Every freaking one of them.
Have you really?
And the one when they went to Cabo.
I have not watched a single
Love
one.
the show.
Okay, good.
So, and these guys on Selling, since he hasn't seen it, every one of them is driving a Lamborghini. Every one of them has, the girls all have Christian Louboutin shoes. If you don't know what those are, they're red bottom, very expensive. All the guys have Audemars Piguet watches and Patek Philippe's and Rolexes, and they're walking into this $3 million home that they're going to make, $40,000 in commission, and they're showing this $112 million Bel Air house where their commissions are $8 million, right? You see these people, and you think, and they're all glamorous as all get out.
Absolutely.
And it seems like they roll into the office around noon, and then they go to like this chic little place to eat little teeny foods, and then they go home. It seems like an amazing job.
It does.
So, and I know Brian's lifestyle, and I know, I think it is pretty freaking awesome. So how would I sign up and become an agent? What would be like let's say I'm at home right now, I'm watching this, I'm Fred, and I'm thinking, damn, I want to do that. what should Fred do if he wants to become an agent?
By the way, hi Fred.
Love the new car too, by the way.
Yeah, baby. So every state is different. So we'll start there depending on where you are living. So I will only speak to how you become a realtor in Indiana because that's all I know.
Right, yeah. You haven't done the Kentucky program?
I have not. I'm not licensed in any other state and currently have no interest. Maybe if I live closer to a border, that would make sense.
Like
you know?
Mexico?
No, like Kentucky or Illinois. You know, if I'm going to sell homes in Indiana and Illinois, it would
sure.
make sense.
Like
right?
you lived in Terre Haute.
Yeah, but I'm straight up in the middle of the state. So
They have no licensing for realtors in Mexico, by the way, just so you know.
good to know. Okay, so first thing you have to do is take a class. Now, your class has to be a minimum of 90 hours of classwork. You have the choice of doing that online or in person. I don't actually know where in-person classes are taught anymore, but I'm sure it exists. I did mine completely online. And I was actually impressed by the online class that I took. I did the CE shop. And what I was impressed by was it kept track of when I was on. Because, you know, you often hear like,
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I do
Yeah.
CE.
Exactly. So, I got the video playing in the background. And, you know, they're not going to know.
You're
Well,
doing asteroids on
exactly,
the other TV.
exactly. So this thing knows how long you are engaged in the class. And when you leave the website, it stops timing you.
Yeah.
So once you get to your minimum of 90, if you've completed the classwork, then you are done. But I took longer because I take notes and, you know, go back and redo stuff, whatever.
Teacher.
There you go. And so then at the end of that, you have to do an evaluation of the class and you have to pass the class in order to be able to now go and take the real estate exams. So you then sign up to take an online test. There's a state test and there is a national test. You have to pass both of them, but not necessarily both together. Here's what I mean. To pass, by the way, you have to get a 75% or better, and you're good. If you pass one and not the other, okay, you can go back and take the other one. The one you pass, you don't have to come back and take. So they're not a package deal, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
Because the first time I did it, I passed the national test. I did not pass the Indiana test by one question. Yeah, and it's like it was 80 to 90 questions, I believe. And so I had gotten a 74%. So I was like, okay, so I missed by one. So then you don't take the test the same day. You actually have to sign up, and unfortunately you have to pay again.
They're multiple days?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So you unfortunately have to pay to take it again, and there's no discount the fact that I wasn't taking both tests the next time. It's still the same price.
Do you think that's because the government wants to make money on you?
I would say so.
Yes.
Yeah. So once you pass both classes, then you're supposed to go and sign up with a brokerage from the beginning.
That's what I was
anyways.
going to ask you.
Yeah.
So let's stop there. So you pass the test, boom, you're a realtor.
Well, yes, you do have to register with the state.
Right. Yeah, you do all that. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
You join. You're a realtor until you join the other program, and then you're a realtor.
Yeah,
Am I
true.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
yeah.
if you don't join, you're just a realtor. Like one of my Modern Families, one of my favorite shows.
Phil Dunphy is my
Phil,
spirit animal.
Phil Dunphy is at the front of this house, and he's standing there with Sofia Vergara, and the real Nana from The Big Bang Theory says, "What are you, a realtor or something?" And Sophia says, "He's a realtor. It's different somehow."
That's a pretty good accent right there.
Well, I know that
You
one.
nailed that one.
So I think that's funny. So, okay, so now you've passed your test. You became a realtor. You joined the program. Now you're a realtor. You got the R to hang on your lapel. And I believe, I'm thinking, you know everything you need to know to be a realtor. I think I killed him.
Wow.
He did. I've been watching that gnat this whole time. I tried to get him over there. I tried to get him. He's dead now.
If I kept this in, that was incredibly loud.
I was also fast, wasn't I?
That was
I was
it.
like Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay, so you need to work somewhere that has a managing broker to essentially oversee you.
I thought you were going to instantly say the answer to that is no.
And I will say there's a lot of information you learn to take that test, but you're really just learning it to take a test because a lot of what we do as realtors is not taught in those classes.
So-
Do you remember coming out of the test and thinking,
Damn, I can figure an acre.
I wish there was more math on the test because I like math and I would have been so much better.
You're the only
I
realtor
know.
to say that in like
I
7
know.
years.
I wanted more math questions and I just didn't get that.
So now what you're saying is it taught you a lot of law and some of the basic stuff about real estate, but nothing about how to actually be a great realtor.
Correct, because there's so much that goes into it that's personal that I don't know how you really could teach that in a class, especially in a class that you're doing online where you're not interacting with anybody.
Right.
And I don't know what the class is like in person. I would hope there's some interaction between people as they role play and such. But if they're teaching people to get ready for the test, which they used to tell us when I was a teacher, don't teach to the test. That's exactly what the class did.
You got to teach to the test so you pass the test.
There you go.
And then someone will teach you how to do the job.
That's correct. And that's why I think it's a good idea to get in with a good brokerage that has a track record of being successful.
So if I was going to do it and I got my license, so do I look at, and I'm going to throw some company names out, and definitely not, I'm not going to throw out Sean Daniels Realty, who's an amazing real estate company.
It's different.
But if I was going to wake up and start, do I look at a Carpenter or a Tucker or a C21 or a Keller Williams? Like, I think they're kind of known for having like some great get started training.
Each one is different. And when I was deciding where I wanted to go, the only one that I knew was Keller Williams because I had just a few years prior used them to buy and sell the house. It was a great experience. And Dave Knight was my agent.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome.
And so I knew I wanted to go to KW, especially when I heard the amount of training that KW gives to their agents all the time, and it's free, and they're always trying to help make their agents better, smarter, more ready to be good at what they do. I don't know that to be true of other ones, but I hear good and bad about other agencies, and I'm certainly not going to throw any under the bus. I don't have the experience there, but I do distinctly remember somebody telling me that you need to shop around because it's also not just about the training that they provide, but each agency has their own fees.
Oh, wait a minute.
That I knew nothing about.
Wait a minute. You're telling me it costs to be a realtor?
It does. So where I started as a solo agent, you had a desk fee. Even if you weren't coming into the office, you had to pay a monthly fee to essentially be able to use their logo on your sign. Oh, yeah.
Right.
You had to buy all your own signs.
Right.
You had to take care of your own postage.
You got free business cards, though, right?
You did, actually.
No, you didn't.
I swear to God.
That's
As
amazing.
soon as you sign with KW, they send you a box of business cards and a magnetic name tag.
No, that's awesome.
Anything after that, if
That was
you want to
all
buy
you?
business cards, you then got to buy those. All of that kind of stuff. Stuff you also didn't know about, you got to pay the local Realtor Association fee.
MyBor, which is a
MyBor.
giant sucking sound on your checkbook.
Exactly, which has two fees, by the way. You have your MyBor fee and your technology fee to be MyBor, which, yeah. Anyway.
Which neither of them function really well.
There
but
you go.
We digress.
So every brokerage has their own set of fees on top of, or I guess on the side of, your commission. When you get paid once you sell a house, you generally don't keep 100% of that money because you're, again, partnered with this agency that is helping you to get your name out there. They're helping you to, again, give you their name and their training. That you're essentially paying them back because you're partnering with them. And each agency has their own split system, whether it's, you keep 50%, 50% goes back to the office, or 60-40, where hopefully you're on the 60 side of that.
Usually you're not.
There you go. And I've heard it 70-30, 80-20, 90-10. Rarely do I hear it as 100 unless you own the company.
There was a lot of 50-50s back in the day.
Less so now, I would believe.
But there are some great companies that do some great training.
Yep. I thought the Keller Williams training was great.
I think Keller Williams is amazing. Carpenter is a great place because they actually place you with a mentor.
Oh, that's good.
You learn. C21, back in 2000 something when Tony got her real estate license, I said, hey, go work for Larry Rasmussen, and Larry will teach you. He'll put you on his team, and Larry was really great at teaching brand new agents and creating the system for them. And then, they'd get to a successful point and they'd move on. Some of them would stay at his, be not on his team anymore and work in
Sure.
his office. So Tucker has an amazing training program as well.
One thing I will say is, if you're going to go into this business, find a place that you feel comfortable and they're offering you something. It's not just to put their name onto your sign. You got to get something out of it. And being at a place that offers training, mentorship is so important because, as we've already said, you don't learn squat in real estate school
Right.
that helps you be a realtor. You need to work with people who've been there before and are willing to, in a way, hold your hand to walk you through the process, because you're signing legal documents.
Great. You're putting your butt on the line.
Yeah, there are some repercussions if you screw that up.
Now, and I want to step back one thing, because I said I wasn't going to say the Sean Daniels team, and the only reason I didn't, I know Sean, your broker owner. I think he's he's built a phenomenal company like that.
Yep.
And his ability to really attract people, his ability to lift people up, and his ability to teach sales, I think, is phenomenal. I just personally don't know his training. Like, if I was a brand new agent, I don't know that Sean would even say, "Thanks for getting your license. I want to train you." Like, I don't know, but
Yeah, you know what? I'll speak to it, and
Yeah.
I know Sean won't mind. So Sean's system is different than where I was at KW. Sean will offer to give you whatever help you need. If you want to go and sit down with him for a meeting and talk on our, schedule it weekly where you can go and ask him questions and learn about the business, he is readily available to do that. If you want to go out and go on a ride with him and go do a house walkthrough, go sit at a closing, go be there when he's doing his listing presentation to people, all of that stuff, you are welcome to go, but it's not scheduled. It's not like a regular thing.
it's not like, hey, watch our 400 video series
Yeah.
of sales training and real estate training that we have.
Yep.
And that I kind of knew that.
Yeah.
That probably wasn't
It's
available.
valuable and you would learn a lot, but I don't think it would be a quick process, because it would be kind of hit and miss when you can get with Sean or potentially someone else from the team who has the time, because of course we're all working our own business.
So what you're saying is, get your license,
I am,
jump in with a company.
definitely.
Bug flying in my face. Jump in with a company that teaches you, and get your poop in a group.
There you go.
Get your Lamborghini, your fancy shoes, your big watch.
I've
And
none
then,
of that.
and then
I
at
haven't
that
got a big
point,
watch, but
at that point you go, okay, now I'm going to find more of an independent broker, or a company that has a lower cap, or someplace that EXP, it's cost you $9 to work there or something. I don't really know, but and then you head off into that system, and now you develop your own team and your own system, and that helps you maximize that success.
and each person is going to be different in that,
Oh, 100%.
You look at Dave and Suzanne, who have been with Scott for years.
Years. And do a phenomenal job.
They do a great job, and they love the freedom that Scott gives them to do their own thing, to go travel, to work a side hustle like Dave has, and basically work into their retirement. And you have some people who like the mentorship, some people who want to be, like my case is, I like to be part of a team and part of a group, so that I have people that I can shoot ideas off of. I have people that I can rely on if I go on vacation who can help me out, because if you're doing this business by yourself,
You're by
there's no
yourself.
such thing as a vacation.
Right.
And I know you enjoy the working vacation, but not everybody does, right? And so that becomes a challenge. And so, if your goal is to eventually go out and do this on your own, you're taking on a significant amount of liability for yourself, as well as a lot of work that you are the one doing all of it. With Sean, one thing I look at is, yes, I'm giving up a part of my pay in a commission, though my split is phenomenal, but he's also taking care of the E&O insurance.
Right.
So someone comes to sue my ass.
That's called errors and omissions.
There
for
you
people
go.
who don't know.
Yeah, so if someone comes to sue my ass, he's got the insurance to cover us there. And I'm okay with that.
So that's awesome. That's great information. And I joked about the Lamborghinis and the fancy shoes, and I do know realtors that are driving around in Bentleys and that are killing it and have been doing this for 30 years. And I will say one thing that is really amazing to speak to the agents that I know that are at the highest pinnacle level of success, and especially in the Indianapolis area, they're usually the most kind, giving, socially focused people that I know. Like, that is one thing that I have to say. There's, I'm going to mention a couple of them, like Tom Endicott, Stephanie Avilo, Dick Richwine, Alan Williams. These people are, they do a great job. They close tons of loans. Mike Deck, I mean, in the hundreds of millions a year. And their social focus and their ability to talk to a person selling a $3 million home and the first-time home buyer buying a $120,000 home is the same treatment level. And I'll put Scott in that same level. Scott Smith's amazing in that as well. And I think that if you're going to take your business as a realtor to that success level, it's not about you.
Oh, no.
And that's what a lot of people don't know.
No, it's definitely, and I suppose the perception you might get from watching a show like Selling Sunset and they're driving the fancy cars is, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to make a crap ton of money.
Right.
And B, those people are so selfish and they love themselves.
Right.
And you're right. The majority of agents that I talk to are super cool. We're all in this to help our clients to get whatever it is that they need, sell their house, buy a house. And we are some of the, I believe, first and quickest people to act when someone needs something.
No, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's down on their luck, car breaks down, house fire, whatever, we are some of the first people that are there to offer services, to offer money, to offer supplies, and we have resources that we know to be able to reach out to a large group of people and say,
let's help this person out.
Yeah, let's help this person out. And so it's a very giving community, and I truly appreciate that.
It's actually where making a large amount of money is a good thing.
Yeah.
A large amount of money doesn't mean you're selfish. A large amount of money means you have the opportunity to help a lot of people. And that's one of the things that I see. And the people who really build their business on a mindset of, if I can help you truly get what you want, I'll eventually get what I want.
Yeah.
But if I focus on what I want, and I don't care about what you want, it never works that way.
Yep.
So, well, Brian, I think that's a bunch of great information. I'm sure there's people out there thinking, maybe a great side hustle for me would be a realtor. So if somebody was thinking about being a realtor, would you recommend them give you a call?
Yes, absolutely would, because, I like talking about this. When somebody contacts me and asks, how do I become a realtor? What recommendations do I have? I mean, I'm ready to go to lunch. Let's go sit down and have lunch, and I'll tell you all about it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, reach out. Yeah, obviously my information's here on the screen. So, and if it's not in Indiana, if you happen to be watching this somewhere else, let me know, because there's a good chance I have a contact in another state that I can point you towards, somebody who can help you out.
I'm going to say same with me. If you are wondering, hey, how do I become a realtor? Who's a good person to talk to?
He's got a lot more contacts than I do, I would bet.
Man, I close loans with a lot of agents, and I've been doing
and
this
different states even, yeah.
different states, Florida, Indiana, Michigan. The first mortgage I closed, we actually had to use a chisel and a hammer to put it in the.
Wow.
Nothing was e-signed.
Was Moses there?
Yeah, we did his first loan. Was the first loan. The neatest thing, though, when he bought the house, it was on the other side of a sea, and he just parted it to make a driveway.
Oh,
It was
how
amazing.
handy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Does that count as an easement?
Yeah, I don't know. That would be a title question that I don't know the answer to, but it'd be in the survey, I think.
Nice. Well, on that note, let's wrap it up here, my man. Thank you for watching. We always appreciate you being here. Brad, thanks for the questions today.
Hey, Brian, thanks for sharing your info.
And let me talk. So we'll see you next time. Real Estate Makes Us Drink. Take care.